Welcome to The Grant, the EU funding podcast. My name is Niels Tudor Winter, and I am the creator, editor, and host of The Grant. The Grant is an independent, non-commercial podcast initiative with the ambition to dig into all corners of the EU R&D funding system on topics of interest for the full EU R&D funding community. For a long time, I've been looking for a guest who would like to present a concrete project and tell about the practical implementation of the activities. I managed to connect to senior grant advisor Virág Zsár from the Hungarian private research organization HETFA. They initiated an ERASMUS Plus proposal some years ago with the focus of building an EU project manager education at university level. They got the funding and have implemented the project the last 3 years. So, this episode is a nice practical piece with insights into what it entails to carry out an EU project, for good and bad. It became a long episode, so I divided it up into 2 episodes. In this second half, we dig into how the communication and dissemination activities work in the ERASMUS Plus program, and how it went with deliverables and results for this particular project. We also touch upon chemistry in the consortium, and Virag shared how the exchange with the funding administrators works in the ERASMUS Plus program. Finally, we briefly talked about troubles they ran into along the way, like all projects do, and how they managed them. Please enjoy. The Grand. How the flow of these was. Now, what I put next here is communication, dissemination, exploitation activities. Do you have that in Erasmus?
Absolutely, we have. It's a very important requirement. I think you get 20 or 30% during the evaluation for this. Not only the proposal, but when you submit your reports. It matters a lot. However, there is no dedicated budget for that. So it's a really nice thing when you have to constantly push it to motivate both the partnership at large, but also the partner who is responsible for communication and dissemination activities. And they always say that, sorry, we don't have budget for that. So it's a very nice struggle during the whole lifetime of the project.
That's weird.
That's crazy. I mean, that's crazy.
It is weird.
That's crazy. Anyway, we could overcome this.
How did you do it?
Well, quite a lot of work was carried out by us as a coordinator. Of course, we negotiated with the partner in advance, who became responsible for these activities, that what they will do and what we will do, how we will support them, and we can be also very much grateful to our motivated partners, because in many cases they just stepped in and contributed as much as it was possible for them. So if you have motivated partners and they are willing to contribute, it's fine. Otherwise, I think it cannot work. So fortunately, I think we were quite good in this, despite all these kind of disadvantages. Because now we just had an evaluation last week in our partnership meeting, and basically we run different social media channels, so LinkedIn, Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram.
The where it doesn't take too much resources, but you can still have a lot of impact.
Yes, and what was really nice to see is that on LinkedIn we have about 400 or 500 followers, so it proved to be the most successful channel. On the other hand, we had the Instagram where we just couldn't get a nice reach out, even if we dedicated it to the students. So we invited students to contribute, to share, to whatever, create things, but it just didn't work out.
Difficult SoMe channel for those kind of things.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's an important lesson learned, I would say. And of course, beside the social media, we developed a nice website where everything is available. We produced quite some leaflets and brochures. And what could be, it's a kind of a positive thing from Corona that we planned from the beginning to present the project at external events, at conferences, or at other project events and things like that. And basically, we plan to have about 8 or 10 appearances. And instead of this, we could present the project at least at 20 conferences or trainings or other kind of external events. So this was a kind of advantage that either online or in person we managed to spread the word about the project. And regarding exploitation, it is not so much insisted in Erasmus Plus. They still at the how you will ensure the sustainability of the project results. But as I already mentioned, we managed to launch these 2 alliances. And for that, we not only get the expression of interest from research performing organizations beyond the partnership, but we could also organize in-person trainings for them linked to the final stakeholder event of the project. So it took place last week in Brussels. And then we had a separate training for the teachers who are willing to teach the foRMAtion educational modules. And then afterwards, we also had a dedicated training for the mentors who are willing to join our foRMAtion mentorship pool and who are willing to host students and to provide them useful on-the-job experiences.
Yeah, you're good. Because these are essential, of course. It's not just about making a curriculum. It's also about training the trainer, so to say.
Absolutely, yes.
Excellent. All right. Interesting also for the listeners to know about Erasmus and how these things work with communication, dissemination, exploitation. You need to be aware of that with the you don't get dedicated budget for that.
Yeah.
So deliverables.
Mm-hmm.
So is it called deliverables?
No, it's, as I told you, it's intellectual output.
Intellectual output. We call them that.
And yeah, and again,
how many did you have?
Well, basically, finally, which got grant, we had 6 intellectual outputs. And again, we had this kind of Horizon 2020 approach that despite the fact that the Erasmus Plus doesn't have that kind of requirements, we always insisted on first developing a kind of methodology, a kind of concept note for each of them, to which all the partners could contribute, and even their roles during the elaboration of these outputs were set. And then when these outputs were finalized, as I told you, they were tested, and then based on the feedbacks, they were revised and finalized.
Okay. And so did you manage to follow the plan from the proposal for the outputs? Did you come into trouble with delivering because of Corona, for instance, or was it something there where you were under pressure to hand them in? Because I guess it's the same as in Horizon, where you have an output with a deadline, so to say.
Absolutely.
Where you have to have it ready. Yeah.
I think we kind of could follow the original plan. So of course there were always some delays, but all the delays were reasonable, and I mean it was necessary, but wasn't that serious that they could affect the delivery of other outputs. What could be added here is potentially the fact that in many cases, and basically this is why I now always formulated the way that the project was co-funded by Erasmus Plus. So I mean, I think all the deliverables or all the intellectual outputs became much more comprehensive and much longer and much more in details than we originally planned. So the budget that we get them just never covered the work that was invested in it. However, fortunately, as I told you, we had quite motivated partners. All of them were very keen on to deliver something which is useful, which makes an added value. So this kind of additional investments were made, and this is in this way. If you check, for instance, the curriculum is, I think, 140 pages long. The teaching material is almost the same. The mentorship guide is about, 70 pages without the annexes. And so there is a kind of a in-depth and very much detailed work in each of them.
That, due to Corona, or what? You had more time in front of your computer.
We didn't have more time.
Oh yeah. Okay. So that's the output there. So, but about we already touched a little bit up on the results.
Mm-hmm.
Before that, so the reason you just mentioned that all the partners that it helped with the outputs that they were so involved. So in the beginning, you mentioned that all partners were contributing to all outputs.
Yes,
yeah?
yes.
Did that help you, or was that complicated sometimes with everybody being involved in everything?
Sometimes it was complicated, but as I told you, it was very important to kind of build on and capitalize on the multiple experiences and multi-folded experiences of the whole partnership. So this is why we always insisted on finding the ways how the different organizations and the institutions can contribute. And I think this is also a kind of added value that we had, this kind of different so partnership with different characters, with different expertise, which really much enriches all the materials.
Yeah, and I guess it's like this in all these kind of projects that you probably would have had some would have been more involved in some of the
Of course it happens. This is life.
It's natural because they will have their interests and capacities following the different outputs, and of course there's no point in you need the input from the ones who are more knowledgeable and have a vested interest in specific parts, and then the others, they can come with their input, but then they will step up in other parts, I guess.
Yeah, of course. In real life, this is how it works, but still, I think we could make a nice cooperation and collaboration among the partners.
Sure. All right. So results. Did you reach your expected goals? Did you come over the goal line with what you promised the commission in the contract?
I would say yes, and especially within our research managers community, the project was very much recognized and acknowledged. Our work was very much acknowledged. And what we already got feedbacks from those who have used the online toolkit, self-development tool, and it's very useful. It's really high quality. They really appreciate that everything is free of charge and then is available for everybody. So I would say that yes, absolutely. And we can also say that as we wanted to make the profession more recognized, and we also wanted to contribute to the development of the profession at large, we could also do this. What was another nice feature is that our Portuguese colleagues from the University of Nova Lisbon, they even applied for an award of blended learning programs, and actually they won it with the foRMAtion module. So it is even recognized. It's added value. It's blended features, and it's innovative, and project-based methodology is even recognized by this award. And as I told you, we also carried out a kind of continuous impact assessment, and basically based on the results as short-term impacts, we could already see that the students, they not only gather the knowledge on research management, but they also could improve a number of important skills and competencies. But basically, this was the same, sorry, with the teachers. I mean, those teachers who had researcher or teaching background, because we also had teachers who had the RMA background, but those teachers who came from the academia, they also could learn a number of things about research managers, the research management, the ideal setup, and division of labor between researchers and research managers. They could also improve their skills and competencies, how to use different online toolkits, how to do budgeting projects and things like that. And it was also interesting to see that after the first semester of the teaching of the module, as the courses became parts of accredited program, so they became part of the teaching offers. So there were kind of a procedure through which they were accepted for the teaching. The university administration and the management also got some knowledge about research management, which turned out to be very positive in the beginning after the first semester of the course. But after the second or the third semester, when we were talking about the sustainability and okay, who will continue the teaching and things like that, we also faced the problem that if this course wasn't initiated by teachers or professors who are part of the academic community, but by research managers, they were not basically approved. So there, additional negotiations, additional persuasion is still needed to get the module be taught and continued. But at large, what we also get that this kind of thematization, talking about the profession, its importance, started at the level of the universities. They also recognize the importance of having well-trained research managers or well-functioning research support offices, which is important because, as you know, our partners are, or most of the university partners are coming from widening countries where they still need a number of improvement, I would say, in the field of research management and the organization of professional research support.
Yeah, which is good. I like that. Now we still have a couple of things that we need to cover, but for it not to be too long, we need to slowly move on. Consortium chemistry and meetings. So this is to give a reality check for everybody.
Well,
so
actually,
I have been, just from my own side, I've been involved myself in both lots of proposal processes and a few projects, project implementations. And consortium chemistry is vital, a good one. But the thing is, you can never have so many people together without there being some friction sometimes and so on. So but how was the balance between the partners of yours? Was it doable? Was it okay, or did you have a fantastic partnership? How was
we had a fantastic partnership. Absolutely. Of course, sometimes we had to negotiate about the money, the budget, the efforts, the additional investments needed. But I think when we could, I mean, when when the partner concerned could understand what can be the added value of additional investments even for themselves, then it
Mhm.
was easy to persuade and motivate them. So I would say, of course, we had some struggles sometimes, but at the end,
You
it
always
could
have
work out
struggles.
well. Yes.
So, and I perfectly understand that it's putting you on the spot talking about the chemistry in the consortium when people are listening to this from the consortium. So, of course, that's like this. I'm not going to dig into that more. So,
Yes, what
but I
I want.
understand that any consortium, and even your partners will all recognize that you probably had your stuff to deal with in the consortium.
Yeah.
And it's just like this. So you don't, without mentioning any of them, it's like this. That all collaborations you run into things where you need to have some to sit down,
Yeah, but
and
it's
have a talk.
needed, and I think it is important. So I mean, communication is the key in everything,
Exactly.
including conflict management, including negotiation. So if you can sit down and if you can go through, and if you can really see the different point of views, then you can find some solution.
Yeah, but I would say, be honest and be transparent.
Definitely, absolutely.
As soon as you start as a partner to start into being hiding things or run around cutting corners or doing things a little bit in the shadows, when people realize this, they are not be invited anymore for future projects.
Yeah,
That's one thing. And
absolutely.
second, there will be the chemistry is gone if you try to do any of
Hmm.
these things. I even had I can't remember. I had a partner in a proposal that tried to cheat me for the fees we were charging, and he was insisting, as if nothing had happened. They said, "Look, I don't know if you're aware of this, but we are a partner in this proposal. I might be writing it as a consultant, but if we win this, we will be in a collaborative proposal for 4 years, with me knowing that you just cheated me. I think you need to reconsider your
Hmm.
position on this." That made it.
Hmm. I can imagine.
And this points out very obvious what you need to be honest. You need to
Yes.
be transparent with your partners. This was about a fee for the work I did, but it goes with anything you do. The budget that you're negotiating, if the other partners see that you're trying to squeeze them for things that you're not obliged, money you're not obliged to get in the budget. For instance, people are gonna moan in the corners. So it's by all means be kind and be transparent, transparent, and treat the others as you would like to be treated yourself.
Yeah, absolutely agree. Absolutely agree. This is a nice takeaway message, I would say.
So let's just move on with the probably sort of related, the communication with the commission. Because that's not always. I've had some difficult, challenging project officers to deal with. But how was the process in your? And now the project is done, and so on. Nobody
No,
wants to step the commission over their feet. But still,
no,
how was the
actually,
process?
actually, a case of this Erasmus Plus Key A2 project. It's not the commission with which you are in touch, but your
Okay.
national agency. Because in each
Okay.
country you have a national agency, and you have to submit the proposal to the national agency of the coordinator. And if it's
Mhm.
granted, then the coordinator has to be in touch with this national agency. So actually, as I told you, our project is a bit more complex than a general Erasmus Plus Key A2 project.
Mhm.
So for quite some time, we just had to explain them what we are doing, why they are things interrelated, interconnected. Why do we want to invite this expert here, even if generally you cannot do such things in Erasmus Plus project? So we made a kind of complex project, and we always had to explain why we want to do something and then get
Mhm.
their approval, just get a written approval. It's one of the most important things when you come to the reporting and you have to justify why you did this and that. So
And here
actually,
you have to.
Yeah.
Here you have to understand, dear listeners, here you have to understand that the funding administrators are bureaucrats. They are basically sitting with a set of rules and regulations that they are administering vis-a-vis the projects that they have funded, and they want to make sure that the projects they follow all the rules and the contract that you signed with them when you got the funding. And depending on the experience of the officer and the what do you say, the capacity of understanding, the conduit, the flexibility, you get nice officers that do understand, where you don't have to do too much explanation if you have to adjust a little bit things that is not normally done like that. And then you have the ones that are running everything by the book no matter what. And then, but this is what you have heard here from Virag, that they had to explain a lot. So
Yes.
yeah.
Yes. And then you can add the fact that I think we had a different officer in every year, if not every half year. So there was a huge fluctuation at the agency. So we always had to start everything from crash and then get another approval and okay, and just please tell us what you think. Okay, you have to consult. Of course, newcomers always had to consult with their supervisors, whoever they didn't have any idea how it works in general, and then in our case. And then the COVID came, special amendments came into force to the subsidy contract, how much percentage of the budget lines can be shifted without problem. So it was a kind of complicated thing. And then lastly, another nice feature is that in Hungary, but probably in almost all Central and Eastern European countries, the managing authorities of EU programs, so in our case, the national agency as well, always interpret EU requirements and rules in a more strict manner than it would be necessary. Just, to say that they are on the safe side, they require everything and more, all the papers, all the invoices, all the whatever. Just to be on the safe side.
But it's also a bureaucratic tradition from the communist ages, where everything had to have a stamp, everything had to be followed very diligently, rule by rule by rule, and if not, no, I reject this. So this is it's like this.
So sometimes it was really ridiculous because some partners had experiences with their own national agency in their country, so like in Portugal or Italy or whatever, and they always told us that, hey, our national agency never requires this. Why do you collect this? And, sorry, this is Hungary. I cannot do anything with it, but we want to be on the safe side as well. So yeah, this is how it went.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Let's move on to, before we the troubles and contingency we already covered. I think we covered the main things with the what you have to go through because of Corona. Is there any other things?
Well, actually,
non-Corona related.
No, I already mentioned the lack of the communication, dissemination budget, and probably I also mentioned this, that originally we had 7 intellectual outputs, but finally only 6 of them was funded, because the national agency thought that one, that we wanted to realize a blended learning platform, so like really something innovative and something really designed for blended learning, is almost the same as our other output, which is the self-development tool. So they just didn't want to give funding for both of them, and said that, okay, solve it from one intellectual output, which was a problem because they decreased our budget, the total budget of the project. And then again, we had to renegotiate with the partners how to implement this, how we understand the blended platform, the online platform, the whatever. So it made some problems, but yeah, we could overcome this.
this is important information for people out there that has not done this before, about to do it, or to understand.
You can do
Just
it.
knowledge. No, but it's knowledge sharing about how it is, what actually happens when you step into
it's important from
implementing
this
the
view
project.
that they can say that they won't give you the required amount, and they just simply delete some lines that they don't
Yeah,
think
but
reasonable.
Virag, it's vital to have this kind of information in a podcast like this, because it's giving a reality check what it is to actually implement the project. So
That's true.
it's something where people, they can get, okay, then we need to be aware of this when we are doing
Sure.
or ask the questions beforehand
Yeah.
and up front, based on other people's experience. So it's excellent. Last thing before we end this up with the toughest challenge, the role as a coordinator.
Mm-hmm.
How did you? Were you comfortable in that role? We went through the corona, so that was challenging, I guess. But how did you fare with that, the role as coordinator?
It was a nice challenge, I would say, but a lot of experiences. After these 40 months, I can say that a lot of experiences that we learned as coordinators. Of course, it gave us a lot of visibility. We could go to a number of conferences. I could negotiate a lot of things with my supervisors, like get the ERMA membership, the opportunity to go to ERMA conferences, because beforehand we didn't get this. So I mean, it was challenging, as I said, but on the long run, it made a lot of advantages, and I think this is the case for all projects. The coordinator always have to put an enormous effort in ensuring that everything's going well. All the connections are connected in the project. All the partners are chased if they are needed. All the partners are delivering. You have the nice setup within the consortium. You don't let partners hide things, or you just be on the track. So it's a lot of investments. I would say that even on our side, we made much more than it should have been needed sometimes. But well, this is how we could reach what we did. So I think it was necessary.
Yeah, very well. And are you going to apply for a complementary project in the same area?
Yes, actually, sorry, actually, so we have absolutely plans to submit two different projects. One within Erasmus Plus, but with a different setup. So those strategic projects which are financed directly by the European Commission. So that is one of our goals, and another one is a Horizon Europe project, because as you might know, in the frame of the widening participation and raising the excellence of the European research area, now opportunities were also opened up for research managers for the capacity building, skill development, knowledge development, networking of RMAs. So another prospective project is planned in that frame in the future, in the near future, I would say.
Okay, but that's good because you have the project to build on. That's excellent.
Absolutely. And yeah, I also can add that two partners, so HETFA and Nova University from Lisbon, could become project partners in a running project, which has been just started in September. It is called RM Roadmap, and it is basically the first of these kind of initiatives within the widening program to kind of assess the research management community at large within Europe, and then to see the gaps, and then formulate a roadmap for the development of the community and the recognition of the profession.
Good. I'm happy.
Me too.
And you can, so this I would say, if you want, I'm always looking for nice things for the podcast. So if you want to, am looking for projects that are running, where I can have concrete interviews with representatives from a project that's running about how it's you're like how it's going on, throughout the process of a running project. So you can consider that. I also invited my guest a couple of days ago to do the same thing. So it's fine to have a handful of projects that I will be following, so people get an idea of how these things work. So you can consider that.
Okay, yeah, as I told you, it's really in the beginning in the project, but yeah, I think in some months we will already have some valuable results. But
that's more difficult for me. I had the idea to see if I can squeeze myself in to get a listening, an ear into a proposal process itself. That's very difficult, of course, because it's of course delicate information that you don't want to share with other competing consortia. But maybe if I anonymize and don't share concrete content, but more about how the process is going. I don't know. It's more delicate matter to. I'm not sure I will ever convince anybody to do that. But you can think about it in the future.
I mean, it can be possible because I always use these examples when I'm teaching, of course, in a way that not telling any concrete things, but still, just to get the feeling of the processes. So yeah, we
think about it.
We can get back to this.
Think about it. Virag, it's we've been recording a long time. I might have to divide this into 2 episodes. It's fine. No. It's good. It's the thing is with podcast on this in this area. It's impossible to make short episodes. Because it's complex things to talk about. It's then I should divide it into very nitty gritty parts. You understand? Then we should make one episode for 20 minutes on the deliverables and results.
Yeah.
But you cannot do that for a flow. It's no. I have a segment I always have, try to have almost always the toughest challenge. So what's been the toughest challenge in the project implementation?
Well, I think what I already mentioned, the
Corona.
Yeah, and its consequences. So this kind of planning, replanning, revising, assessing the feasibility of physical meeting, then completely turning online. Okay, what should be switch back to physical? So this kind of thing. I mean, the fact that we didn't know how long it will go on and what will be the time when we can continue our life in the way that we did so, or whether we will be possible to continue our life in that way that we had previously. So I think this was the toughest, and potentially the low budget of the program gave us. So I mean, as I told you, one of the intellectual outputs were cut, which meant about 55,000 euros reduction, and it's a lot in this case of projects. So as I told you, we really needed our motivated partners to perform and to deliver something valuable, even with additional investments from their side.
Yeah, that is a challenge when the budget changes. Thank you.
Done?
It was very nice. Very nice episode. So I'm just gonna have a short outro before we say goodbye to the guests. Say goodbye to the listeners. Dear listeners, I hope you enjoyed this. This has been a wonderful, tangible episode about what it is to implement the project. I really hope you enjoyed that. I really hope you have takeaways that you can be inspired by, or knowledge that can make it easier for you or give you insights that's going to make the process, you know what you step into, so to say, when you do these things. I am always trying to build this universe of mine. This is part of it with the content of episodes, but it's also, I have a hub where I'm trying to put resources and links and so on, where you can find all the information you need in all these processes. So please go on my website, check that out, thegrant.eu. It's also where you go and subscribe to the podcast, because you have to.
Definitely.
That is the best way for me to grow the podcast. I say it in every episode. It's the best way for podcasts to grow. That's to have subscribers, an email list. So that's what I'm trying to get everybody to do. If you have sympathy with this, please do that. Help me.
We'll do so.
Virag, thanks again for coming along into the virtual podcast studio. It was a very, very nice conversation. I hope you enjoyed it as well, sharing this nice project with me and the listeners.
Definitely. Thank you very much, Niels, for inviting me, and also for taking the time to go through the project and all the ups and downs in it. It was such a great experience to conclude it, because as I told you, we are just finishing this project, but every material, all the outputs are available on the project website, which is foRMAtion. So foRMAtion, and how do you say it? Thoughtmark, rma.eu. So it's foRMAtion, rma.eu.
I will share this on my website.
Okay, great. Thank you very much.
Podcast is out. And I guess it's after post project dissemination communication. The podcast.
It matters, without budget, but it matters.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Have a nice evening, and we will stay in touch.
Yes. Okay. Just let me know how to share with you the recording. And
so bye.
Bye.